By all means, let's be open-minded, but not so open-minded that our brains drop out. Nature is not cruel, only pitilessly indifferent. This is one of the hardest lessons for humans to learn. We cannot admit that things might be neither good nor evil, neither cruel nor kind, but simply fallacious, indifferent to all suffering, lacking all purpose. I am not an enthusiast for diversity of opinion where facts are concerned. It has become almost a cliché to remark that nobody boasts of ignorance of literature, but it is socially acceptable to boast ignorance of science and proudly claim incompetence in mathematics. The chicken is only an egg's way of making another egg. Being dead will be no different than being unborn. I shall be just as I was in the time of William the Conqueror, or the dinosaurs, or the trilobites. There is nothing to fear in that. If something is true, no amount of wishful thinking will change it. The theory of evolution by cumulative natural selection is the only theory we know of that is in principle capable of explaining the existence of organized complexity. Evolution has no long-term goal. There is no long-distance target, no final protection to serve as a criterion for selection, although human vanity cherishes the absurd notion that our species is the final goal of evolution. The truth is more magical, in the best and most exciting sense of the word, than the myth or made-up mystery or miracle. Science has its own magic, the magic of reality. Science has eradicated smallpox, can immunize against most previously deadly viruses, can kill most previously deadly bacteria. Theology has done nothing but talk of pestilence as the wages of sin. For the first half of geological time, our ancestors were bacteria. Most creatures still are bacteria, and each one of our trillions of cells is a colony of bacteria. Next time that somebody tells you something is true, why not say to them, what kind of evidence is there for that? And if they can't give you a good answer, I hope you'll think very carefully before you believe a word they say. Let us try to teach generosity and altruism, because we are born selfish. Faith is the great cop-out, the great excuse to evade the need to think and elevate evidence. Faith is belief in spite of, even perhaps because of, the lack of evidence. Science is the poetry of reality. The feeling of awed wonder that science can give us is one of the highest experiences of which the human psyche is capable. It is a deep, aesthetic passion to rank with the finest that music and poetry can deliver. It is truly one of the things that make life worth living. And it does so, if anything, more effectively if it convinces us that the time we have for living is quite finite. Let children learn about different faiths. Let them notice their incompatibility. Let them draw their own conclusions about the consequences for that incompatibility. As for whether they are valid, let them make up their own minds when they are old enough to do so. Sometimes in life, it is a good idea to stop. Sometimes it is a good idea to go on. The trick is to decide when to stop. It is absolutely safe to say that if you meet somebody who claims not to believe in evolution, that person is ignorant, stupid, or insane, or wicked, but I'd rather not consider that. I'm against religion, because it teaches us to be satisfied with not understanding the world. Today, the theory of evolution is about as much open to doubt as the theory that the Earth goes round the sun. Scientific beliefs are supported by evidence, and they get results. Myths and faiths are not, and they do not. Evolution is a fact, as securely established as any in science, and he who denies it betrays woeful ignorance and lack of education, which likely extends to other fields as well. Natural selection is the blind watchmaker. Blind because it does not see ahead, does not plan consequences, has no purpose in view, yet the living results of natural selection overwhelmingly impress us with the appearance of design as if by a master watchmaker, impress us with the illusion of design and planning. It often turns out, on closer inspection, that acts of apparent altruism are really selfishness in disguise. We are machines built by DNA whose purpose is to make more copies of the same DNA. This is exactly what we are for. We are machines for propagating DNA, and the propagation of DNA is a self-sustaining process. It is every living object's sole reason for living. On one planet, Earth, and possibly only one planet in the entire universe, molecules would normally make nothing more complicated than a chunk of rock, gather themselves together into chunks of rock-sized matter of such staggering complexity that they are capable of running, jumping, swimming, flying, seeing, hearing, capturing, and eating other such animated chunks of complexity, capable in cases of thinking and feeling and falling in love with yet other chunks of complex matter. Myths are fun, as long as you don't confuse them with the truth. The idea of a divine creator belittles the elegant reality of the universe. Faith is the great cop-out, the great excuse to evade the need to think. The time has come for people of reason to say, enough is enough. Religious faith discourages independent thought. It's divisive, and it's dangerous. The solution often turns out more beautiful than the puzzle. Such delusions of grandeur to think that God, with 100 billion galaxies on his mind, would give a tuppenny damn who you sleep with, or indeed whether you believe in him. Faith is one of the world's great evils, comparable to the smallpox virus, but harder to eradicate. The less you think, the more you believe. Do not indoctrinate your children. Teach them how to think for themselves, how to evaluate evidence, and how to disagree with you. Faith is belief without evidence and reason. Coincidentally, that is also the definition of delusion. Much as we might wish to believe otherwise, universal love and the welfare of the species as a whole are concepts which simply do not make evolutionary sense.